One circuit board pattern printed out on photo paper with the laser printer. So the reason I just laser printed onto inkjet photo paper is because the toner doesn't stick to this paper very well. That's important because I'm trying to get the toner to unstick off of the paper and onto the little copper-clad circuit board here. This is technically the second attempt, because on the first attempt, when I tried to etch the board, all of the toner came off. So I've just gotten done cleaning this in the sink with soap and water and a Brillo pad. And now, 99% rubbing alcohol. So here's the printout with the pattern that I'm going to put on the board. These are all a bunch of individual tiny little NeoPixel holders. These are for my periodic table. So I flip the paper over, put it on the board. To transfer the toner off of the paper and onto the circuit board, I have the handy dandy iron set to its highest heat setting. Plop the iron down on the board, press hard, and run the iron back and forth. Alright, one freshly pressed circuit board. After allowing the circuit board to cool down a bit, I've put it in a plastic tray, and this part is just add water and let it soak for a while. The soaking is to soften up the paper. That way I can remove the paper, leaving the toner behind, and then the toner can act as a resist during the etching process. The board has been soaking for a couple of minutes now. Paper has gotten soft and squishy. Normally, the etchant of choice for etching printed circuit boards is ferric chloride. I don't happen to have any ferric chloride right now, so I'm going to use a slightly different etchant based on 3% hydrogen peroxide and hydrochloric acid. so I can handle the board safely. I'm rinsing it with a bit of distilled water. Oops. And it was supposed to be a little bit of baking soda to neutralize any leftover acid. A little distilled water to rinse off the excess baking soda. That's one etched board. With the board dried off, the next step is to remove the toner. Some good old acetone. So here's one of the boards, and this is a tube of solder paste. I'm going to grab a little solder paste and dab it onto these 4 little pads here. Those are the pads that the NeoPixel sits on. Take one of my NeoPixels out of the reel and find the corner that has the notch on it. That corner goes to the bottom right. Then line it up so the corners of the NeoPixel sit as close as possible to the little pads. And I'm going to carefully sit the board on top of the barrel of the soldering iron. That lets the soldering iron heat the board up. Eventually, the board will get to the melting point of the solder. Okay, the solder's melted and it flowed. And now the NeoPixel is soldered to the board.